Welcome to the Journey Podcast, where we talk freight, sales, tech, the market, and everything in between. My name is Will Jenkins, CEO and founder of Journey. Let's get it.
Hello, and welcome to Sales Bites by Journey. My name is Will Jenkins, CEO and founder of Journey. And today I'm joined by one of my favorite people in the world, Daniel Solida. What's up, man?
How you doing, Will? Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. Excellent. I'm doing quite well. Excited to sit down and jam a little bit. Before we go ahead and get into some of the sales bites, give me a quick 10,000 foot overview of your background. I know you really well. So excited to have you on the Journey team. It's like the best thing in the world. But the rest of the world, they got to get acclimated with who is Dan. So give us the 10,000 foot overview.
Okay, cool, man. Dan Solida. I started my logistical career between my junior and senior year of college at Iowa. I was an intern at Coyote Logistics on the customer operations side, and I was lucky enough to have them bring me back for a full-time gig starting the summer of 2012, August of 2012, which is crazy to think it's been that long, but I have been in logistics ever since. I was at Coyote for about 7.5 years, all on the customer operations side, doing a whole bunch of different things over there. Moving pretty much anything and everything you could think of under the sun. Had some little gigs in there, little stints with like US peak season. After UPS acquired Coyote, I had a brief stint on like a BD / we were lining up with an outside UPS sales rep. That was towards the end of my career or my time there at Coyote. After that, I was lucky enough to join the MoLo crew, which obviously you co-founded. And I was even luckier enough to have you be my sales manager, taking me under your wing and pretty much teaching me everything I know about the customer selling side, which Lord knows, and especially I used to stink at that thing. And, you talk about the mumbling and the fumbling through the cold calls and just, eating my own words. I did it all at the start, and lucky enough to have you as my manager and teach me the ropes and get me solid enough to land some fantastic customers and really bounce back from a terrible start to 2021 MoLo Salesman of the Year. So really cool accomplishment there. I think if I remember correctly, my book grew 900% in a year, which was just absolutely insane. The market certainly helped during that time, but lucky enough, I had some really big lands in that time and my book just exploded. So after MoLo got acquired by ArcBest, I made one final move over to a company called Sage Freight. They're headquartered down in Brentwood, Tennessee. I ended up becoming their Chicago / Midwest outside sales rep for roughly 2.5 years there. And here I am at Journey. I was lucky enough to maintain the healthy relationship that we have together, and an opportunity presented itself, and it's already been over 2 months. So here we are.
Dude, time flies. And I will tell you, it's a lot easier to coach someone that is willing to do the work and roll their sleeves up and whatnot. So, it was a pleasure being able to build with you there. And I'm excited to be able to dig in and continue building gear as we're working through Journey. So let's talk sales bite stuff. But before that, give us a quick fun fact, and then we're going to talk about your topic for today.
A quick fun fact, believe it or not, I'm a father. I have a young baby boy who actually just turned 9 months old today, which is kind of incredible, because if you were to think about it, and this is why I think it's funny, back when you and I first connected, it was 2012 or 2013, and I was on the customer operations side moving some Aldi freight, and you were on the carrier sales side moving trucks all over the country. And back then, I viewed myself as a young, immature punk, and now I'm kind of a different man. I've grown into this mature father-like figure, and I would have never guessed it if you were to ask me that question 13 years ago. So just crazy.
Well, I'm incredibly proud of you. It's been really cool to see you grow, and it's nuts to think it's been, I met you in 2014, so almost 12 years now. Seeing you grow as an individual and a dad and in your career and a husband, it's incredible. So all my favorite things. It's the best.
It is. There's nothing better. I mean, true life things. And gotta say, we're fully into the adulting mode here.
Awesome. Well, Dan, thank you so much for joining us on Sales Bites. Let's go ahead and get to it. I know you wanted to talk about value-based selling. So tell me a little bit about what that is, and then I'll ask you some questions from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one of the most important things in the sales cycle that a lot of folks might miss on. It's, identifying and aligning with the buyer's core needs. I think that a lot of folks like to think that they have the silver bullet, the thing that every customer is just going to eat up. But at the end of the day, if you're not listening to what they're saying or what they actually need, doesn't matter what you're selling. It could be actually the silver bullet, but if you're not aligning it with what they need, you're probably not going to go very far in the sales cycle.
So as a new seller, a lot of times, I've seen new sellers really focus on features and benefits and things like that. We're the largest carrier. We have 80,000 partners. We do all of these things. How do I flip my tone from here's all the things that we do to make it more poignant for that person so that it's pertinent to their needs? How do I flip that?
I mean, ultimately, you got to get to a customer outcome, right? We could have all the features in the world, but how does it help you? Are we going to increase your on-time pick, on-time delivery percentage? Are you going to get hit less with OTIF fees, things like that? Whatever it is that they're looking for the most, maybe some relevant drop trailer capacity or a new facility opened up that they need help with shuttle runs or things like that. Executing when the time comes, but you gotta shift focus from, selling your features to actually delivering relevant customer outcomes.
Okay. Now let's attack that a little bit more. You talked about customer outcomes and flipping that paradigm a bit. As a new seller, what are some of the ways I can uncover that information if I might not have the experience to know, hey, looks like this customer ships to Walmart. OTIF fees are going to be a problem. Or they go to a bunch of grocery retailers. The appointments are really early, got a short window of time. I know how to sell to that. How do I start to uncover those things to then make my pitch more specific and value-based?
I think the number one thing that this is, again, a lot of sellers miss this fact here, but the best calls, the best discovery calls or onboarding calls I ever had, I was actually asking a lot of questions, letting them talk more. So it has to be super tailored. It has to be, very specific, targeted specific questions. But ultimately, those questions are what's going to unlock more answers. And then as they talk more, the answers are going to unravel more questions. So a lot of it is just, we talked about this before, active listening, but then also asking very targeted, specific questions to unlock a lot of things that you may not know, but you have to be listening for it. You can't just be talking about it.
Totally. I think it's challenging as a new seller. I've definitely done this, to just shut up.
The power of the pause is a very underutilized value. So
it's
a lot of sellers, if there's a pause on the call, there's a little bit of a silence. They're like, blah, 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 and just, you have to fill the air, right? But honestly, there were some calls that I can remember still to this day where maybe even 30 seconds to a minute went by with silence. And you want to talk about some awkwardness or some like, oh my gosh, your heart starts racing, or like, what are they thinking? What's going on their side? Boy, it's right in those seconds or that minute. But at the end of the day, they're going to start talking at a certain point, I promise you. But that power of the pause is super undervalued.
That matters. And also asking questions and then being quiet enough to let the person finish their answer. I think oftentimes you and I can have a back and forth. I ask you a question. I'm so excited about this thing that I'm going to position next. I cut you off. I don't get the rest of the really important nuggets that I could use to tailor my pitch. I've seen it with new sellers all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, that person was about to say something really good, and we cut them off.
Just you gotta imagine like a little zipper here and just zip that thing up and just let them talk. And then when they're done, then you can talk. But early on in my sales career, I honestly can't even count how many times I would cut the decision maker off, whoever I got on the phone. They would say something And it would be in the middle of like call it a paragraph or a dialogue, and they're talking, but I wanted to make sure I hit on whatever they just said. So I cut them off before they finished what they said. And then all of a sudden you could tell their emotions changed, their attitude changed. They're just like, man, I didn't like that. I didn't like how you just cut me off right there. I was in the middle of talking about something. And then, yeah, maybe what you said was relevant to that little specific piece, but there was a whole story there that you just completely cut off. And now I don't want to keep telling you it.
Man, one of the things, they're spitting hot fire right now. One of the things that I learned early on from really good sales mentors was to not be afraid to tell people that you're taking notes and writing things down, whether it's in person, you're writing things down, or it's virtual and you're taking notes. Love to position that early on. Hey, Dan, I'm going to be taking notes because I want to make sure I don't miss certain things. That gives you the space to actually be quiet, and you can recall the thing and go, okay, so I was writing this down and I realized you said this. Can you tell me more about it? Versus like, I got to say it right now because I'm going to forget. And then you don't let them get out their whole, spiel.
Totally. And I think that's also undervalued. I actually can't tell you how many times I've been on a call where, my eyes might be somewhere else and they can tell that, especially digitally. But I'll actually say, hey, sorry, if you see me, I'm just taking notes just to make sure I don't miss anything. And I've actually had responses being like, oh, I actually appreciate that. Thanks for telling me. Something as simple as that. It's super open and honest and transparent. You see my eyes wandering, but instead of me maybe having them think, oh, he's not even paying attention to me, or what's he looking at over there? I'm actually telling you, hey, I'm just making sure I'm taking notes over here. And if you see me over there and I'm typing, it's just because I'm taking notes, just to make sure I don't miss anything. It's actually pretty valued.
I love it, man. So when you think about, let's say, uncovering information, but you don't have enough to tailor what you're saying to someone quite yet. Let's say I'm selling to Dan. Dan hasn't responded to my emails. I haven't gotten a lot of information in my cold calls yet. What strategies do you use to uncover some information that can help your value-based sales process work more effectively? Because not always do we get customers that reciprocate. Sometimes you got a little bit of a shot in the dark. You're doing your best to figure it out, but we still need to advance that opportunity.
No, absolutely. I think this is a tough one. I think that not talking about business all the time is actually okay. I think if you talk about something else, say, they're in Los Angeles or they're in New York, maybe talking about the Mets or the Yankees, or, talking about football or anything that they might be interested in, or say something you just did that weekend. Say you just went to a concert, uncover that they like music, or something personal, like talk about your kid or your pets. Excuse me. It's kind of interesting when you start talking about real life things, how that might uncover and unravel certain conversations that you might get to down the road. It might not be immediate, but building that personal rapport, talking about something else might get them to open up a little bit more about something that you actually want to know, business related about them.
Totally. I think that's a big one because we are selling to people and they have interests. There's stuff outside of freight, and we want to make sure that we are professional in our outreach, but it's okay to be a person. So, man, maybe there's, like you said, sports, there's some kind of concert you went to, an analogy, whatever, man, something that is normal that the person might resonate with. And now that opens up the rest of the conversation.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
I'm going to recap some notes and then let me know if there's anything that I missed or anything else you want to chime in on before we wrap up. So a couple things that you said: identifying and aligning with the buyer's core needs. What are those items? How do you tailor what you're saying to that? And if you're not listening to what they're saying, it doesn't matter. So you need to be absorbing that information so that you can pitch what they need, not what you think they need, or what your agenda may be for that particular conversation. You want to flip to customer outcomes. What do they get as a result of this? The best discovery calls mean that you're asking questions and they're talking more. So you don't talk as much. They are get into it. That's where all the good information is. Super tailored and targeted questions will allow you to uncover better information to be a value-based seller. Stop talking. Let them talk. Be quiet. You also mentioned, let them know you're taking notes, pay attention, use that information to your favor later as you're able to recall those things, and then just be a person. It's okay. People buy from people.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think you hit it all on the head.
Man, Dan, this has been incredible. I really appreciate you taking some time here on Sales Bites. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.